Scorpio, we are here to do your zodiac sign for this Venus retrograde, and we're going to briefly touch base with some of the aspects, maybe some suggestions, which I may have mentioned in the other videos, and we're going to look at this kind of transit of what's happening with you guys. Now, the shadow energy of this is already occurring for your zodiac sign and for every zodiac sign. I feel it was more to do with mid-month, so we're feeling from 13th onwards. Now, it is going to be moving through all the way through to the 25th of June. We're also going to be having a nodal shift in May. Plus, there are a lot of energies that are coming up where we do need to look at our wounds. We do need to use our Aries and Chiron placement to handle some of these situations. And it is a time that 9 times out of 10 you can hear from people from the past. So the financial aspect can link into Venus. Your value systems can also link into Venus. Also, you know, your comfortable energies and the finer things in life. Habits, etc., because there's still Venus energy. It's, you know, needs and desires. It's as well as romance. So these subject matters can be coming up, plus the house placement for your zodiac sign. Now, as I mentioned, Aries and Chiron has been something that I've really been guiding my tribe to be looking at, more from a perspective that if you're aware of your main wound area and ways that can be activated and what house is actually coming up for you, yours is your 6th house, which is your career sector. This in the past is linking into a lot of soul work because it's there for 8 years. So the energy of how we handle it, because Mars energy is linked into Aries, so it can be where we fight, where we actually have to look at ourselves, but we're able to deal with it from our own personal perspective. So it's a healthier place to actually have it, but you do tend to find that Chiron seems to be there a bit longer due to the fact there's more work to be done in that area. So for you guys, it's in your 6th house. Now, during this Venus retrograde, we currently have on the 11th Mercury in April in Aries, which is linking into activating our wound, looking at our career sector for you, Scorpio, and how you're feeling about that in this given situation. Sometimes if you did, for instance, lose your job and you're in hermit mode, you're having a bit more time, and it feels a little bit where your value system with the connection of employment can be coming up in a very unique way. As well as when we are given hermit mode energy in any shape or form, be it we're working or we're not, still the energy of Chiron will be in your employment zone. Now, with the energy of Venus going retrograde, it falls in your 8th house. Some of you at the early degree of the zodiac sign, it will be in your 7th house. Some of you, it will be in your 8th house, depending on whether you were born at the beginning of that cycle or towards the end, the later degrees. So catch it where it falls, but there is a subject matter where communication and thought and connection is coming up, both to do with your energy and ability to be non-codependent and separate within connections, but the healthy codependency on situations. There's also the energy of marriages, contracts, partnerships coming up for those of you at the beginning stage of that zodiac wheel, which uniquely Juno currently is in retrograde, and it will be going direct around the time of this transit of Venus retrograde, especially in your zodiac sign. And Chiron for you does fall in your 12th house. So it can be for you guys your hidden resources, your spirituality, a spiritual connection. It's the house also of illicit affairs and hidden. And being that you're Scorpio, you energetically and intuitively may be looking at these things, and there can be some shadow work being looked at in the connection and how it made you vibrationally feel. But with a lot of the Mercury energy coming through in Venus at the moment, you will find that this is going to be an opportunity to communicate, to solve things, to work through the wounds, but to be able to articulate it from your own perspective. I'm going to pull some cards. Let's have a look. So at the beginning cycle of it, I do feel you guys initially are going to be able to sense things. I'm feeling as though there will be this meditation based on how you're feeling, how you feel in the romantic connection, but I do very much with the Neptunian aspects. And Neptune for you guys is in your 5th house, which is romance, children, and luck. I feel you guys are maybe realizing the way you look at love and why you look at love. Again, you do tend to find with the 8th house, it's showing us a non-codependent way, and it's also showing us a different reality, be it we're in a connection or we're not. It is the time that this assessment is going to come up in some shape or form. You don't need to be in a relationship to be looking at Venus retrograde, because it's going to link into various areas. Okay, the beginning stage, I'm feeling you guys are moving into a mindset of looking at the things of the past, looking at the broader picture and the wider scope. I do feel a little bit of frustration in the sense that you're wanting to proceed forward, but you're feeling this sense of delay. I also don't feel, and it's odd, Scorpio, I'm feeling more it's other people trying to jolt this communication with you, but you're not quite knowing what to say. So if you're in a connection, I feel other people are going to be opening conversations with you, and you won't need to say anything, and it might be very unique for you. When Mercury on the 27th of April moves into Taurus, I do feel your value systems and the things you're looking at are going to shift and change. It's then going to topple over into May, where we're having the nodes shift. And again, this will link into the same energy of the Gemini energy. So again, it's Mercury energy, it's communication. It can be linking in with technology. It's also very social and very independent. You do tend to find a lot of people deem the Gemini energy as twins, which is quite unique, because in the twin energy, some in the spiritual community will have the tag linking in very romanticized, but those on the journey, no, it's not romanticized. It is a very independent zodiac sign. So you also need to look at that aspect. It loves its independence. It loves connections as well, but it loves its independence. So it's a very dual energy. I will be doing one completely separate at the end. That will just be super chats. So I'll do it directly after this video, and it'll just be super chats for, the 4 questions, anything. So, with the frequency coming through, I feel in general, you will be looking at the truth of how you feel about the direct relationships of the past. And this is a time you're going to hear from people. Now, in the first pocket of it, I am feeling you guys are really intuitive. And again, being Scorpio, you do tend to be highly intuitive. You're going to be looking at what's hidden already off the bat. Very Scorpion energy, right? For the first portion of Venus retrograde, and this is why I'm saying it's already coming through in the cards. I haven't done this for Cancer, but I will go back and redo the Cancer zodiac signs so I can do cards for it. In the beginning point, I am very much feeling whatever this is coming up for you, it is not reacting like a traditional Venus retrograde. Usually at the beginning stage, it's very romanticized. The middle pocket of Venus retrograde, it's a 6-week cycle, happens every 18 months. Last time we had Venus in the sign of Gemini was 8 years ago. So the 2 dates roughly was 2012 and 2004, I believe. 4 or 2. So subjects from that time frame may be coming back to be revisited. So think back to that time, what was going on, what your mindset was, and if there's any correlating energies around this time. In the 6-week cycle, don't make any major commitments, i.e., sign the dotted line so it's a forever situation. This is going to shape the next, I'd say, 18 months of life. So this is a very pivotal turning point. And I do feel it's really this year is making us really level up and be very logical and non-delusional about what we pour our energy into. With the page energy coming through, whatever is being activated in you, especially with the energy of Gemini in your 8th house, past life energy, if you have ever lost anyone in your life, it can be bringing that up, especially with what's going on in the collective. Because the connection of the 8th house is very Mars and Pluto, which is birth, deaths, endings, legacies, wills, your ability to bounce back after the fact. It's taking you back to that core wound. Again, there can be links in to things that were hidden around that time, paperwork, unfinished business, subject matters in that area coming to the forefront. If there was money or anything to that degree, again, if it hadn't been solved and it was hidden from you, it can be coming back to the forefront. But subject matters are going to come up from the past, as well as in your romantic life. It can be a way in which you're wanting to be in connections now in a healthy, non-codependent way. But I do feel a lot of research and superstition. And I keep hearing that, so I'm very superstitious. Midway through the transit of Venus retrograde in Gemini, for you guys, again, you're going to see manipulation energy. This may be where you're trying to pull the wool over your eyes so you don't have to experience vibration. It can be your value systems are different, so you sort of might misinterpret what other people's energies are doing, and you may take it for manipulation. I actually am not feeling it is such. And if it has been a common theme for a while, I just feel energetically you're seeing something differently to what you've actually seen it before. This can also be you sensing something, but still wanting to dig a little bit further so you can see the reasons why situations are playing out. And again, I will restate, thinking back to the energy of Aries and Chiron, an awareness of why people do things. When you do work on yourself, you understand 9 times out of 10 it's not about you. You will be able to sense if the person has a spiritual blockage, a painful situation. And with the nodes being in Gemini in May, it's going to help us a bit more. But Venus being in Gemini as well, what you're going to find is communication is going to be the key. It's a really healthy way to dig in. But again, communication isn't all verbal. It is intuitive. So it's trying to alchemize both. But again, when you have a poor relationship with your gut does not prevent you from experiencing hurt, pain, dishonesty, or anything to that degree. The thing is, you can control you. If another's energy directly has done something in the past, etc., it wasn't your job energetically to tune into what they were doing. So don't form an ill connection with your gut. Make peace with it during this, and trust in the process that even if you're digging, sometimes even when we dig for things and we're superstitious, are we trying to actually look for something, or are we trying to sabotage ourselves? Because if we do find something, are we then willing to take direct action and change that ship's course? Food for thought. So tap into that, but I'm feeling more, you're looking and you're going to see behavioral patterns. You're going to see, maybe what your value system was in the past versus what it is moving through. And like I said, this transit of Venus retrograde, you're going to be very different. So with the Neptunian aspects, allow yourself to ride that wave and experience each vibration. Moving to the end cycle. Again, this can be and it's unique because if, for instance, your energy of Aries and Chiron is in your employment sector, this is for some, not for all, it will be unique that this card's coming up, because I'm not feeling this is lower frequency. There can be a subject matter of an ex coming up for some of you. There also can be an energy of who's giving energy to what. There also can be an energy where if you're not working and you're dependent on another person, it is triggering the wound connected to the Aries energy in Chiron. And this is during Venus retrograde. Again, communication is the key. I do feel it's making you experience a dynamic for you to own your power, moving into different areas. Now, Juno for you is in your 12th house. In May, it will be going direct. This is where within your feminine energy and what it's bringing up during this Venus retrograde cycle, it's helping you see something differently. It's helping you trust your intuition and guide you in a certain direction so that after this transit, you're going to be able to take the bull by the horns and shift the course for 2021. Any questions? I don't feel we're going to have wool pulled over our eyes during this transit. I feel it's almost this transit's doing the polar opposite. It's very an awareness. We're going to be very aware of distortion versus reality. but you've got to tap into what your reality is in the connection, in the finances, in the sector of where you're wanting to move. Okay? Think Venus flytrap, think Neptune energy, which is dreams, but it's also delusions, illusions. And I do feel really taking the time and not rushing yourself through this. If you're hearing from someone from the past or something's coming up, sitting with that vibration and assessing it. I'll be back shortly. We'll talk soon. Bookings below. See you soon.